Hey everybody, welcome back into Occupy Democrats on this post-Christmas day that we'd like to call Flashback Friday in honor of this breaking story, because Donald Trump has talked out of both sides of his mouth and flip-flopped so much you make a flapjack dizzy. And I'm going to show you this breaking story literally in just a few moments because it's that important for you to see. But remember when Donald Trump said this about free speech?
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that.
And then just a week or so ago, his Secretary of State, the clown from Miami, Marco Rubio, said this about revoking and deporting people for their speech. Here.
If we invite someone to visit the United States of America as a student, as a tourist, as whatever, then they have the standard they should be held to is very high. We shouldn't be bringing people into this country. We should not be giving visas to people who are going to come to the United States and do things like celebrate the murder, the execution, the assassination of a political figure. We should not. And if they're already here, we should be revoking their visa.
And if you'd like to see Donald Trump deported, just subscribe to the channel. And then Trump finishes it with this.
If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
He also loves to attack immigrants, as we well know. And what he said about the guy running for the mayor of New York, Mamdani, back before he won this.
Like this communist from New York someday gets elected. I can't believe that's happening. That's a terrible thing for our country, by the way. He's a communist. We're going to go to a communistic state. That's so bad for New York.
So in this breaking story, when Trump goes, we only get the best people, well, look at what he just did in terms of elevating someone in a position to potentially decide who does and does not get to come into the United States and who might have their visa revoked. Check out this new hire in this breaking story and who she is and where she's from and what she's done. Breaking news, Trump hires beauty salon owner to decide who to ban from the U.S. The official has a fun and cheeky mini chain offering blowouts in Texas. Trump has installed an attorney and part-time beauty salon owner to decide which foreigners are allowed to enter the U.S. The State Department announced that Mora Namdar has been promoted from her post working on U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East and North Africa to become Assistant Secretary for Consular Affairs, overseeing everything from passport issuance to visa approvals and revocations. Namdar, who is the daughter of Iranian immigrants, previously did the job on an interim basis during Trump's first term in 2020. Namdar, 46, owns a mini chain of beauty salons called BAM in her native Texas, with locations in the West Village in her hometown of Dallas, as well as Fort Worth and Plano. The original salon, she told Voyage Dallas magazine, was intended to be gorgeous and sophisticated and evoke dreams of a Parisian heaven in Dallas with a 20-foot flower wall, and grew out of her friends asked to do their makeup at her weddings. In quotes, "It dawned on me that there is a need for a gorgeous place that treats the styling of women like a form of art," she said, while she told DM magazine in 2017 that it was fun and cheeky. Blowouts start at $45 and professional makeup sessions at $55. Namdar combined owning the salon with running a one-woman law firm. On Christmas Day, yesterday, 12/25/25, she announced it was no longer active. She was also one of the contributors to the notorious Project 2025, which has heavily influenced Trump's second term, writing a section about the U.S. Agency for Global Media, USAGM, according to the Columbia Journalism Review. In it, Namdar accused USAGM, the federal umbrella for the U.S.-funded broadcasters, including Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, of serious mismanagement, in quotes, espionage-related security risks, and of using anti-U.S. talking points to parrot America's adversaries' propaganda while calling for it to be reformed or closed altogether. Namdar's Senate confirmation earlier this month now puts a politically connected operator with media experience in charge of a bureau that can effectively decide who gets to enter the United States and who gets turned away. In prepared testimony for her October Senate hearing, she framed visa adjudications as critical to national security, saying she concurred with Rubio's assessment that if someone undermines our foreign policy, then consular officers have the authority to revoke their visa. Namdar's record inside government has already drawn scrutiny. Several outlets have reported that her interim leadership in the State Department's Near Eastern Affairs Bureau this year triggered internal concerns about management morale. She will now be leading moves by the administration to ban people entering the U.S., including actions against citizens of various European countries who the President, 79, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, 54, announced on Wednesday had been barred from entering the U.S. for what it described as, in quotes, egregious censorship of, quote, American viewpoint viewpoints on social media platforms, promising more would likely follow. Trump repeatedly sought to distance himself from Project 2025 during the campaign, but by the year's end, PBS reported that outside trackers estimate the administration has implemented roughly half the agenda's goals, with, in quote, personnel is policy hires like Namdar and Federal Communications Commission FCC Chairman Brendan Carr singled out as a key mechanism. The FCC is the independent regulator that oversees broadcast licensing, telecom, and growing share of government fights over media power and viewpoint disputes. Carr 46 authored Project 2025's FCC chapter, which argues the agency should take a more aggressive posture toward big tech and what he calls a censorship cartel, while pairing that culture war agenda with an explicit push to roll back swaths of existing telecom regulation. Since taking the job, Carr has moved in ways that critics say align with those priorities, steps that have triggered Senate blowback and warnings from former FCC leaders about speech-chilling politicization. The Daily Beast has contacted the State Department and Namdar for comment. And there it is again. Donald Trump making some sort of elevated hire that doesn't seem to be based on anything other than something he likes or some sort of whim he has on a random day that ends in Y. But what it certainly is not typically based on is any form of meritocracy, just a form of being a sycophant who's another yes person to the POTUS because he just wants to have his head patted on and told he's great. You guys like and share the video. Stay frosty.